Welcome back to another episode of Andromeda 6, a sci-fi Otome game, and if you're interested in catching up, I have all the other previous episodes, and if not, here's a short summary. Not a lot actually happened, we just get introduced to the characters. We have June, who's the one who saved us. Riona's the ship medic. We met Bash, who's the engineer, Damon, who's the ship assassin. I didn't know that was a position. Calderon's the captain, and Ayame is the pilot. And we haven't met Redhead yet, so hopefully... Actually, I don't know if we'll meet him this time, because I've been doing 30-minute, playthroughs or whatever, and it's actually taken a lot longer than I expected. But we finally get to Terranium. Anyways, let's continue. I bite down on my tongue to keep from answering. His definition of fun is certainly an interesting one. Oh shoot, let me start my 30-minute timer. I had it set up, but I didn't start it. Okay. Still trigger happy over there is right. You shouldn't wander around there on your own, especially if you don't know the place. Okay, to catch anybody up, the captain, so we woke up with amnesia and we met everybody, and then the captain tells us that he's basically gonna drop us off at Terranium, which is a planet, and Damon is telling us that it's a pretty dangerous planet, pretty musty planet. There's like lots of illegal stuff happening. So yeah, he's going over that with me. He glances at me, giving me a once-over from head to toe, and pulling his lips into a tight, unimpressed line. Or if you don't know how to take care of yourself. I can take care of myself. Damon huffs a laugh, and I swear I hear him mumble cute under his breath. I'd like to see that newbie. In fact, I might even pay to see that. Although I'm sure the cowboy would have a thing or two to say about it. Cowboy, I think he's referring to June. I do nothing but narrow my eyes at him, to which he replies with a dark grin, as if that was the exact reaction he was hoping for. Anyway, I'm not your babysitter, and I don't particularly care what you do or don't do while we're there, so take this just in case. He pulls a black leather sheath from the pocket of his coat and holds it toward me. On closer inspection, I notice the glint of metal and a sturdy handle. He's giving me a dagger. Apparently not one to wait around for a decision to be made, Damon clicks his tongue at me impatiently. Take it. You'll need it. Oh, take it or don't take it. I don't even know how to fight. But it would be good to take it just in case, right? I hesitate for a moment, wondering if he's going to stick it in my gut himself before I reach out and take it. If what I've heard of Las Vegas is true, it doesn't sound like the sort of place I should be wandering around unprotected. That's what I'm saying. Damon cocks a dark eyebrow, a gesture that makes me wonder if he's surprised I took the dagger at all. Do you know how to use it? Stick them with the pointy end. You got that right? Try not to kill yourself with it, will you? I don't need another reason for the captain to be on my back. Well, the captain's the one who's trying to get rid of us, so... Damon, how are things looking on your end? Calderon's deep voice cuts our conversation short, and when I turn toward the cockpit, his attention is still firmly fixed on the controls in front of him. I would question if he noticed my presence at all, having not received so much as a glance from him, but I don't think anything escapes that man. The radar is coming up clean. No active patrols in the quadrant for the time being. Oppo has the yard clear for landing. We're good to go. Ayame? We're coming into orbit, switching autopilot off to prepare for landing. All stats are looking good despite the, well, you know. Yeah, but there's a huge hole in the cargo hold. Sebastian? Oh, I didn't realize Bash's name was Sebastian. I thought his name was just Bash. Would it kill you to call me Bash like everyone else? Sebastian. A sigh crackles through the receiver, followed by Bash's voice, once again, bright and bold. Engines are a-okay. Let's get busy. Damon snickers beside me, shaking his head before he pushes me toward an empty chair and sits me down. Does he even hear himself? I raise an eyebrow as he straps me in, securing the belts around me in place and pulling it twice to ensure they're firm. Wait, give me a second. Okay. I guess thanks. I mean, I'm considering I have amnesia. Maybe I don't know how to put a seatbelt on. Damon winks at me and answers, stepping away once he's happy I'm securely fixed in place. Everyone, take your seats. We're about to enter Terranium's atmosphere. The sound of metal groaning catches my attention when Damon takes the seat next to me, strapping himself in just as the ship lurches and rumbles. Leaning forward as far as my restraints will allow, the beige-orange mass of Terranium surrounds us. The vivid neon lights and unusual buildings of Las Vegas growing closer and closer as we approach our destination. When we descend the loading ramp, the first thing that hits me is the heat. Not the balmy kind of warmth you'd find on a summer's day, but the scorch of fiery engines and hot metal. The late afternoon sun hangs low in the sky, and a metallic oily scent lingers in the air. I wrinkle my nose at it, surveying my surroundings. We're on a landing strip in what looks to be some kind of junkyard. Scrap metal piles up on either side of us, broken down robots, rusted old hovercrafts, outdated droids. A graveyard of poor, unwanted things. It's a relief to step onto solid ground after the past few days in space, and I toe the dirt beneath my shoe, kicking up a small cloud of dust as I do so. Following behind the group, my eyes drift idly over the piles of junk surrounding us, until my gaze falls upon a serving bot, an older model by the looks of what I can see of it, laying half buried under a pile of rusted limbs, metal arms, legs, and torsos thrown haphazardly into a pyramid. I step toward it, its black eyes, one cracked right down the middle, staring into mine, and its mouth opening and closing slowly, like a dying goldfish. A shiver runs through me, and I find myself feeling oddly sorry for the machine, left lost and alone among the skeletons of its own kind. Someone grabs my arm and yanks me aside roughly, and I see immediately what they've saved me from impaling my foot on. A piece of metal scrap lays half buried in the sand, its jagged edge poking up ominously through the dust. Be careful. Calderon gives me a hard look, his face schooled into an expression of pure annoyance. Thanks. Yeah, thanks. I mutter thanks to the captain, though wonder why I bother when he merely turns and keeps walking. You know, the more I'm doing this, the more I don't want to choose Calderon as my route. I don't know why exactly, but he seems more on edge on the ground than he did on the ship. I get the impression he's not too fond of the planet. I can't stop myself from scowling at his back as we walk along, the clouds of dust growing thicker around us the further we get. June told me I should stay close to someone while we're here, and after hearing about the planet, I agree with him. I'd feel more comfortable if that someone was... I don't know... I can't decide. I've already done all the routes and I love them all equally. Like, genuinely. Whoa, I think the sound is kind of loud. I think that's better, hopefully. Okay, let's see. Calderon's pissing me off. He's really got an attitude. I mean, he helped me, but he's pissing me off. And Damon is growing on me again. And I love June and Bash. I'm not doing Ayame or Ryona's routes this time. I mean, I did their routes just to do their stories, I think. Or maybe I didn't. I don't remember. It's been a while. But I'm not interested. Ah, sorry, that was my chair. I promise it wasn't me. It's cause, okay, here's the issue. Calderon's pissing me off. Damon's story has some parts that I didn't like as a love interest in. Bash, if I accidentally get his bad ending, it will make me cry because I really didn't like Bash's bad ending. And then, you know what, I'll just do June. June's the sweetest. There's nothing wrong with June. I fall into step beside the gunman, who gives me a gentle smile and moves a little closer. I'll watch your back while we're here, 11. Try not to make the task too difficult for me. He nudges me a little, and I bite down on my lip to stifle my grin. I'll try my best not to. We don't have to walk much further until we're greeted by a scaled lizard-like being who smiles and spreads their arms wide to welcome us. It's Oppo! I love Oppo. I break away from the group a little to get a better look at our host. Welcome, my friends. Oppo is very happy. Oppo is so very happy to see you again. Me too. I love Oppo. Calderon steps forward first, a rumble of impatience hanging thick in his words. Skip the pleasantries, Oppo. We're here on business. Oppo drops their arms, surveying Calderon with an almost fearful look. I don't blame them, really. The captain is an intimidating man. Yes, of course. Do you have the parts? Right over here, Captain. Oh. Calderon strolls over to the pile of metal Oppo indicated toward, with Damon in tow, while Aya steps forward to give Oppo a much friendlier greeting. How have things been around here, Op? She smiles at the lizard, who towers above her and makes a non-committal kind of sound. Bad. Very bad since the Khmeri took over power. Oppo barely gets enough water to keep the club running, now that they have control of the council. Every oasis on the planet is under their order. It's interesting that only some of his S's are prolonged. Aya's eyebrows dip, her expression shifting to one of pure horror. Zovak gave his clan control of the Council of Embers? Yes, the old councilor is executed. Many of the arena fighters have been taken from the planet, made to serve in the king's army. Oppo fears bad things are coming to all planets. June frowns, and I can't help but notice Oppo shy away a little, having only just noticed he was there. I fear you might be right, Oppo. The Council of Embers? I ask Bash, who's standing beside me, and he whispers back his answer. The Council of Embers are Terranian's government. Every planet has one. What is that sound? The Council of Eons on Telerin, the Council of Iron on Cursa, and the Council of Essence on Orion. There was also the Council of Pearl before Catalfa was destroyed. All of them answer to the Crown Council on Goldus, who in turn answers to and advises the monarch. The monarch Zovak? Bash makes a face, and I wonder if it was the wrong thing for me to say. Most would argue against his claim. The monarchy has always been passed down through the royal Pegasi family. Pegasi? Pegasi family. Pegasi? Pegasi sounds cooler. Pegasi family ever since its creation. Zovak fought his way to the throne and took it by force. He's a ruthless man, and his clan, the Khmeri, are just as bad. While June and Aya carry on their conversation in hushed tones, I feel a hand on my back as Bash steers me toward Oppo, hailing them with a wave of his bionic hand. Oppo, I want you to meet 11. The Arcnos looks me over, their beady eyes blinking rapidly and their forked tongue darting out from behind pointed teeth. Mr. Bash has bought Oppo a new slave! Yes! Oppo, no, this is your friend. Bad Oppo. And they're not slaves, they're employees. Yes, employees. That's what Oppo said. Bash shakes his head at the lizard, then leans in a little closer to whisper to me. I do not give Oppo slaves, just so we're clear. An ungraceful snort escapes me. Crystal. I feel a nudge on my arm, and when I turn, Oppo is beside me, teeth bared in a pointed smile. You will come and work for Oppo, yes? Better than slumming it with the Astrometer crew. The Astrometer? It's Andromeda, Oppo. How many times have we been over this? Oppo blinks at Bash once, and then twice, ignoring him completely as they turn back to me. A spot just opened up in Oppo's club. Very popular tourist destination. Oppo will give you a good price. No need to worry. Back off, Oppo. This one's with us. I thought you'd be, you know, happy that I got a job offer. I thought you were gonna, like, just kick me out. Calderon shoulders his way past the Arcnos, standing between us and blocking me from Oppo's beady eyes. I can't see Oppo's reaction, but I hear the reply come from Calderon's other side. Yes, Captain, at once. How much for the parts? 2,000 credits. 2,000. Calderon leans in and says something to Oppo in a harsh whisper I don't understand. I realize after a moment that he spoke in another language entirely. For you, Oppo will take 400. Damn, 2,000 to 400? That's like crazy. And Oppo's junkers will install the parts for you for free of charge. Calderon leans back and crosses his arms over his chest, looking awfully pleased with himself. You go to the club while you wait. Show your new friend our hospitality here in Las Vegas. No chance. I'm staying with the ship. Come on, party pooper. The ship's in good hands, isn't it, Op? Yes, yes. Oppo will take care of it. Calderon looks unconvinced, though he heaves a sigh despite his hesitation, and Aya gives him an excited clap on the back before she turns to me. We are going to have so much fun. The streets of Las Vegas are a minefield of neon lights, tiny shop fronts and stalls, and all manner of creatures roaming the city. It doesn't take us long to reach our destination, stopping outside a large, odd-shaped building with a fluorescent sign on the front reading The Ark. The bar we enter is crowded, overflowing with humans, dolphins, arcnos, and some species I've never seen before. It's interesting how, like, my amnesia, or like, her amnesia, well, I am her, but anyways, my in-game amnesia, like, I've never met someone with amnesia, so I don't know how retrograde amnesia works. Like, how much do you forget? Because in-game me clearly remembers, like, species and, like, other facts, but I don't remember anything other than general information. I don't know, I thought that was interesting. The crowd in here is so diverse, so colorful and unique that I can't help but let my eyes wander. A small group of Arcnos hides away in a corner to the back. Low hisses and chirps the only thing to be heard among their heated discussion. Waiters hurry through the crowd, dressed in tight black outfits. Most look human, with varying degrees of bionic alterations. Synthetic limbs, cybernetic enhancements, some of them even look more animal than human. A couple of dolphins stand out among the crowd, their gills shimmering brightly with some sort of pearlescent substance. I'm not sure I can see myself sporting glitter on my gills, but it's definitely a statement look. Oh yeah, I'm Catalfin. It doesn't take long to realize there are no Talari, and I wonder why that is. This feels like the kind of place someone would come to escape, to disappear in a crowd, lose yourself for a night, or even forever. I wonder if the crew feels the same. If there are things, places, people that they too would wish to escape. The Ark is most definitely a world of its own, and I wonder how deeply it would drag me down to the rabbit hole if I let it. I don't like it, I love it. I'm not sure how to feel about it. I don't know. I've never been to, like, it feels like a bar / club. I don't know. I feel like to enjoy these kinds of places, you have to be kind of drunk. It's a lot to take in, the lights, the crowds, the noise, yeah, exactly. But at the same time, this could be exactly what I need after spending the last few days cooped up on the ship. Also that. I wouldn't mind exploring a little to find out more about the place. My eyes start to June beside me to find him as calm and collected as always, despite our surroundings. Though on the outside, he's the perfect picture of serenity. The way his eyes rake over the scene in front of us leads me to believe that there's more going on inside that head than expected. Our hands brush slightly and a chill runs up my arm, freezing me to the spot. When our eyes meet again, June smiles at me, and a little of the knot in my stomach starts to unwind. More than a few eyes watch as we enter, sizing up the new patrons of the club. Most seem to know the crew, and while some are friendly, offering greetings or simply the nod of their head, others are not so much. The crew don't seem to mind the odd, unfriendly glare they receive, either ignoring it completely or in some cases, giving it back just as rough. Don't wander too far. It's safe enough in the club, but don't leave this place on your own. Calderon gives me a hard look before he heads towards the bar, and I resist the urge to roll my eyes at him. Damon grins at me knowingly, nudging past me to join the captain. We'll meet back here in a couple of hours. Ayame flashes a smile, skipping toward a curtain near the back of the room. When she pushes it to the side, I get a glimpse of a stage so long it almost looks like a catwalk. June lets out a weary sigh from beside me, before striding off to catch up to the pilot. I smile to myself a little, watching him go. There's something I like about the way he seems to look out for everyone. Yeah, 'cause he's so sweet. Don't get into too much trouble. Bash grins and I watch as he heads to a separate room off to the side of the building. Riona hot on his heels. I can't decide on a pronunciation for her name. I peek through the door a little before the curtain floats back to its place after them, catching a glimpse of the felt-lined tables and plastic chips of differing colors. Gambling den. Deciding I'd like to learn more about the crew and my future with it, I push my way through the crowd and find myself at the bar. Really? I thought... Oh wait, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Here's our little stowaway. Damon grins at me, wide and wolfish, leaning sideways against the bar. What'll be, newbie? Does it? I remember what he has. He said he gets like some drink with like shrimp or krill in it. I'm gonna get a cocktail. Don't forget the umbrella. Damon chuckles at the request before signaling the bartender, ordering our drinks and then mumbling to himself. Why am I not surprised? Don't you two have anywhere else to go? Oh, I'm sorry, Commander. Are we disturbing you in your barstool of solitude? Don't call me that. Damon grins and immediately I know he's hit Calderon exactly where he wanted to. But it's such a good title. Calderon tenses, shoulders tight as Damon turns to me. You see, our dear captain here was a commander in Orsana's guard. Orsana's guard? To my surprise, Calderon is the one who answers. They're the law here in the system. Their base is on Goldus. Something about the way he says this intrigues me. There's a kind of loathing in his eyes, a bitter disdain. Why did you leave? I didn't have a choice. I wanted to ask more, but he doesn't seem to want to talk about it. I try a different question instead. Did you know the royal family? Not really. I was stationed in the city, the Bronze District mostly. That's where they hide the street rats of Siltavia. Siltavia? I like VA. I'm gonna stick with that. Stick him in factories and work him till they bleed. Calderon gives Damon a look, though the latter only shrugs and takes a long drink from his glass. What? I can't give the newbie here a little background on the planet we snatched her from? Calderon makes an unimpressed sound, a kind of growl in the back of his throat, and Damon turns back to me, arms folded over his chest. Let's see if we can hotwire that brain of yours with a little bit of info, shall we? Siltavia has 3 districts. Gold, home of luxury items, jewels, high-end tech, and fashion couture. Think of all the pompous, hoity-toity assholes you've ever met, and chances are, that's where they're from. I resist the urge to glance at Calderon, and I think Damon notices by the knowing glint in his eyes. Silver, technology and trade. All transport to and from the capital goes through this district and is closely monitored by the guard. And bronze, factories, power plants, and steel works. The dregs? Is it good or j? The dregs of Goldus, and where they assign only the fiercest of the guard. Damon shoots a quick look at Calderon before whispering to me. In my opinion, I think that's where they station the soldiers that they want to punish. His lips quirk, and my own follow suit. Calderon appears to be pretending not to have heard him. All citizens of the capital work and live in these districts. For the glory of Goldus, as they say. Bunch of bullshit, if you ask me. He raises an eyebrow, scanning my face for something only he knows. Does any of this strike a chord with you? I shake my head. None of it sounds familiar. Maybe I'm not from Goldus after all. God forbid you end up being from Cursa. My planet breeds warriors. Warriors, I'll have you know. So Damon's from Cursa. Oh yeah? What happened to you then? Damon grins wolfishly, his steady gaze sizing up the captain in a way that has him narrowing his eyes into thin slits of blue. Come closer and I'll tell you. Calderon rolls his eyes, clearing his throat for good measure. Last I heard, you detested your planet. Why defend it now? You want to talk about detesting planets? You look pretty content to sit on your ass instead of trying to find a way back to yours. Moms must be so worried about the precious golden boy. And let's not forget that. Watch your mouth. Or what, Cal? The mood around us grows thick, tension hanging heavy in the air. I almost decide to head off and find someone else, leaving the two of them to their argument, until Calderon lets out a heavy sigh. I don't want to talk about it. Damon bangs a fist on the bar in front of him, and it's the first time I've seen him genuinely angry. Aren't you the one always telling me to talk about shit? We have more important things to worry about. The fact that Calderon hasn't fully snapped at Damon surprises me, and I wonder about the nature of the relationship. Maybe they're together. Maybe they had a little thing. Cause I asked Ayame if she had a fling with Calderon, and she said no, but you know, I can see Calderon and Damon. I can see that. Fine, suit yourself. They turn away from each other. They're just a little bit fruity, you know? A little bit of gay. Both of their shoulders tense. I want to say something, but before I can find the words, I notice Damon staring at me, freezing me in place with that cold, cold stare. Let's talk about something else, shall we? Or rather, someone else? A sense of foreboding settles in my stomach. I'm not sure I like the way Damon grins when he says that. Looks like we have a dilemma in our hands. What exactly are we going to do with you, newbie? The captain rolls his eyes and clears his throat, cutting to the chase. What he means is we don't do charity. You can't stay on the Andromeda 6 if you're going to be just another mouth to feed. Which means you gotta work. When did it change? The plan was to kick me out of the ship and leave me here. I wouldn't mind a whole different entire story where what would have happened if I had stayed in Terranium. If the creators ever watch this, which they probably won't, can you make a sequel, a separate like alternative of what would have happened if I just stayed in Terranium working as a stripper? Damon looks me up and down and I swallow thickly. What am I gonna be, the ship? I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. What kind of work? That's irrelevant. You just need to choose who you'd rather answer to. I can choose anyone? No, the crew already has enough on their hands. They don't need any added burdens. I narrow my eyes at him. His choice of words is poor, but in a way I understand what he means. I don't want to be a burden. Pulling my own weight in exchange for food and accommodation sounds fair enough to me. So it's either me or Damon stowaway. I'm the captain and he's second in command. I didn't realize that Damon was second in command. It's only fair that the responsibility falls on one of us. Go ahead and choose, newbie. Me or Cal. Calderon growls a little at the name. They definitely had a thing for each other. I mean, you can't tell me that there's some sexual tension going on. I'm just saying. But let's it slide for the time being. Ugh. I wanted to go with June, but I don't know what I chose to get Calderon or Damon, but I wanted to go with June. Maybe it's after this where I get to choose between hanging out with Bash and Riona or hanging out with June and Ayame. I'll choose Calderon. It seems on first thought like the safer choice. Though by the way Calderon's forehead dips as the seconds tick on, I'm a little less sure of that. I choose the captain. Too late to back out now. Whatever. Less trouble for me. Damon stands, tossing back the contents of his glass before he starts to leave. He stops for just a moment, long enough to look over his shoulder and call out to me. Good luck, 11. I love Damon, but not this time. Not this time. When I turn back to Calderon, it's to find him staring down the neck of his bottle, a faraway look in his eyes. I take advantage of his silence to ask the one question that's been burning in the back of my mind. Have you and Damon been, you know... What did you mean when you said, oh, that wasn't the... I thought it would let me choose. What did you mean when you said you had no choice but to leave Goldus? You sure ask a lot of questions. This was my first question. What the... Yeah, that was my only one. His gaze falls on me, impatience written all over his face, and I swallow thickly. I'm just trying to learn more about you. Calderon raises an eyebrow at me, taken aback by my boldness. Why? 'Cause I don't think you're as much of a hard ass as you let on. He turns back to the bar, and for a moment I think he isn't going to say anything, until finally he speaks, almost too quietly to hear over the static of the crowd around us. I was exiled. 3 words. That's all it takes to bring down that mask of hostility and hardness, replacing it instead with despair. Oh my goodness, my alarm's going off. Oh, we didn't even get to meet my favorite character. Well, he's not my favorite. I just like him a lot because I love, I just have a thing for redheads in literature. I say literature, but it's literally only just anime dudes. Oh my gosh, this is irritating me. Okay. I gotta save. I can't. I'll stay up all night playing this game and then I won't be able to cut it into sections because my computer can't handle that. Oh, episode 2, Far From Home. Aw. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you're interested in playing this yourselves, you can always go on itch.io. I'll also have the URL in the description box so you can check it out. But yeah, it's free, or if you want to support the creators / developers, you can always, you know, it's choose your own price or something like that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.